Welcome everybody to the Frito and Willie show. I'm your host, Frito Marcelin, and we also have Willie Mac Trill in the building.
I'm the realest dude in it. You already know. You know what I'm saying? Made Dean's List 4 semesters in a row. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Yo, Willie, we're going to talk about the Gucci versus Jeezy versus battle. Let me first say, one of the greatest movies of 2020, one of the best plot twists, one of the greatest prize fights that we've seen, one of the greatest basketball games that we've seen. Gucci made a run. Jeezy made a run. It was like blow for blow. I was excited. I was geeked up. I was shocked. And to be honest, I am still lost for words about what went on during this versus. Wow. Yo, so let's get right into it, dog.
Okay.
When you heard that this versus was about to pop off, what ran through your mind?
I didn't think it was real. I checked at least 8 sources before I finally made comments about it. Before I literally checked 8 sources. I went on Complex. I went on Swiss's Instagram. I went on Timbo's Instagram. I went on Hip Hop DX. I texted a couple people. Like I really was like, this is too serious to put up, to announce on your social media without being confirmed. Because there have been some really, I remember someone made an incredible fake versus poster for Big Daddy Kane versus Rakim, and I thought it was real. It looked real, we are very talented nowadays with the Photoshop and the other, tools. And so I almost posted that, like almost text you about that. Literally, like I was like seconds away from saying Rakim versus BDK. And I checked just 2 more sources and I was like, I don't think this is real. I even went to Big Daddy Kane's page and he was like, sounds like a good idea to me. I was like, okay, it's not real. So, I was stupid hyped about that. So that was the same reaction. Like, okay, let me make sure before I text Frito, before I text my sister, before I text my cousins, let me make sure this is real. Then I finally found enough confirmation. So it went from disbelief to, oh my gosh, because no disrespect to Tip, I was not that excited about the Tip Jeezy versus. I just wasn't. And that's no disrespect to Tip, because Tip is a first ballot Hall of Fame MC, trap MC, all that. Like T.I. hits all the boxes, but there wasn't enough antagonism there for me to get too excited about it. Like Tip and Jeezy are friends. You know what I mean? And I know John and Payne are friends too, and their verses is still, I think, in the top 2 or 3 of all time. But it just didn't seem right. Like even when Jesus was calling T.I. out, I'm like, come on, man, y'all, I don't see it. But there's real antagonism, and there's beyond antagonism. There's beef. There's antagonism. There's, we'll talk about this, but there definitely was hatred at one time between these 2 individuals. And like I said, shout out to Tip, because he brought the term trap music to the forefront. But in most people's eyes, I think that the trap god, trap king crown is debated between 2 people, and that's Guwap, aka LaFleur, aka Gucci, and it's Snowman, Big Snow, aka Jeezy. And so this had a little bit more on the line for me. How about you? How did you feel?
Well, so just like you, when I first heard it, I was like, this is not real. Just because of the 15 years of animosity between them. And I was like, I just like you. I didn't ask me sources, but I took a couple sources. I went to the Verzuz Instagram page to be like, is this real? I didn't see anything that they really posted, but I heard that Timbaland commented on things. And then I saw Gucci with a video running down the hill confirming that this was going to go down. And I was like, oh, snap, this is real. But then I had some other things. If this is real, they're not going to do it in the same building. They can't have it in the same.
Not possible. It was impossible. Yeah.
I knew for a fact that both of them were going to be at two different locations, similar to how other verses have been throughout this time. You know, this wasn't going to be no 2 Chainz and Rick Ross where they all in the same building. No, it was going to be from, you know, when they took it back, Little John versus T-Pain and stuff like that, where, hey, all right, cool, we do our thing.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, when they finally did, it was like, wow. Let's just say I was shocked when they had it in the building, you know?
I was anxious.
I was nervous. You know, so that was my first reactions to it all. It's kind of like, how are they going to really do this? What's going to go down? I just had all these things. I'm just like, is this really serious? You know, I just couldn't believe it, dog. I just couldn't believe it, you know?
Yeah. It was, you know, this is also important. This is the start of season 2 of Verzuz, what they're calling season 2. So I also think that Tip, Jeezy, it wasn't getting even the hype online. Like, I was amazed at people who were like, hey, is it this week or the next week? Like, people just weren't, you know, I do know some people that were very excited. So I don't want to make like everybody wasn't excited, but it just felt like on the nationwide scene, it was like, okay, cool, yeah, Tip and Jeezy, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But like with Gucci, like this was announced a week ago. And in a week, the hype machine, I don't even want to call it a machine. It was super authentic. Like I know people who changed meetings. I know there were some events that were scheduled. Like legit online, like happy hour stuff. Like, yeah, we got to cancel this because Gucci going against Jeezy. like legit. I know people cancel like online meetings, online socials because like, oh, this is it. But you know, I will need to say this before we talk about. I think it's going to be a good transition to the impact of Jeezy and Gucci. Well, the other side of it was there were so many people like legit throwing dirt all over this, like, who cares? I care. And it was just like, look, man, I'm just gonna keep it real. There are certain qualifications required to be able to critique this situation. You know, if you're eating stuffing instead of dressing on Turkey Day, your opinion's invalid. If you've never been in a party, club, barbecue, concert, if you've never been to one of those type of events and at least once in your life you felt just a little concern for your safety, just a little bit, your opinion is invalid. If you've never ever worn a t-shirt 3 sizes too big, this isn't for you. It just isn't for you. You know what I'm saying?
If you've never used the word fitted for your caps, this is not for you, man.
Yeah. If you've never been in a store that sold t-shirts featuring cereal logos intermixed with trap activities, not saying you had to buy the shirt, But if you've never been in a store, if what I'm telling you right now does not, if you don't understand what I mean, if you don't understand it, if you've never seen the Tony the Tiger shirt where he has the frosty flakes, but they're not cereal, we can't talk about this, bro. We just can't. We just can't. This isn't for you.
Oh my gosh.
You know, there's no diss. There's no diss.
Oh man.
There are going to be some verses that you're not going to get any comments from me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's no diss.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but this is for a specific group of people. You know what I mean? So let us enjoy this.
Pretty much.
Because for me, this was the Super Bowl. This was bigger than the NBA Finals for me. This is bigger than the Super Bowl for me, personally. So I'm going to transition back over to you now.
I think you said earlier in another post that we did on Instagram, this was the Trap Super Bowl.
Yes! Yes! And it's from two, it's amazing like how you can have two similar artists, but they're so different.
Yes.
You know, because like Jay-Z and Nas, like, you know, they're very similar artists. Really, they really are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not. UGK and 8Ball and MJG are honestly similar artists, but they're not. You know what I'm saying? For some of you guys that may not relate, Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears are probably similar artists. Well, nah, Christina can really, really sing. Maybe that wasn't the best situation. But no diss. But Jeezy and Gucci are totally similar artists, but are so dissimilar at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like they're the same genre of music.
Super, yeah, definitely the same genre.
But you know, their techniques at delivery.
Yeah.
And this is where we can kind of get into like the impacts these dudes done had, man.
Thank you. Oh, good transition, Free. Good transition. Speak on it, dog. Speak on it.
So Gucci for me is like, he's the evolution of Project Pat. You know what I'm saying?
You just dropping some. Please continue. Please continue, dog.
The different type of flow, whereas a lot of it's kind of nasally and it just hops on the beat and just finds the groove, but then it has a unique particular sound to it. Whereas like Project Pat, still awesome, remain in this lane, but Gucci, I felt like his flow evolved, was a bit faster, you know.
Yeah.
His metaphors were slightly different than Project Pat. And I feel, you know, that's to me, when I think of him, I think you can probably speak on it a little bit more because you have more interactions with Project Pat. You know what I mean? But for me, when I first hear Gucci, I feel like he was the evolution of Project Pat.
Yeah, like this makes me, we definitely got to do a Project Pat 36 Mafia pod soon. But I think that's really great. And if you ever ask Gucci who his favorite rappers are, he'll tell you, he even said in his own book that Project Pat was like his favorite rapper for a long time.
Wow.
And you see it. I mean, it's really sick. You really are able to see it, is that I don't know how to explain it, but you know how there's certain rappers you sort of believe what they're saying. I don't know how to. Project Pat, I really believed what he was saying. And Gucci, it's crazy that Gucci said in the book, Gucci was like, Gucci literally says, I know what a rapper is doing. I know when a rapper is living what he says. And that's Project Pat. So that was a lot of what he tried to focus on in his delivery. And so like, thing about Gucci is that like, it's sort of frustrating because, you know, people are like, oh, Gucci can't rap. I think Gucci just versatile. Because freaky girl come on and you know what I'm saying, he can rap that. Take your girl to Gucci World, you know what I'm saying? Take your girl to Gucci Land. And it sounds silly. It is like, oh, he can't, you know. But like, I just think that just shows his versatility, because then the next track can be stick shift, M6, girl, this a stock tip, smoking in the cockpit, my sports car's a hot whip, my rims do a front flip, my top does a back flip, your girl saw my drop top, the chick did a drop kick. Like, and I slowed that down because, you know, there's so the assonance and everything in it is just incredible. Like, nah, man, Gucci raps. Gucci can rap, but he may not be rapping about anything but like 4 or 5 topics. Like, Gucci rapping about his ice, Gucci rapping about his car, Gucci rapping about his clothes, Gucci rapping about that blow, and Gucci rapping about you don't want to mess with him.
Look at women.
And women. And I would keep it real with you, not in the most positive way. There are no Dear Mama songs coming from Gucci. Like, ain't no keep your head up. Ain't no poetic justice. Ain't none of that coming. None of that coming from Gucci.
Oh my God.
Goo-wah. And then there's Jeezy, right? Jeezy had the Tupac influence. All right. Don't come looking for me talking about comparing Jeezy to Tupac. I don't want to hear it. What I mean by that is that Jeezy is there are some exceptions though. Check out Jeezy's verse on Rick Ross's War Ready. I'll pull it up in a second. Oh my gosh, Jeezy, like Rick Ross did not know Jeezy was gonna rap like that on that song. But Jeezy was so much onto the real type of stuff too. Like, he wanted to be very authentic. And I think like Pac, his verses, like, he really wanted you to hear almost every word that he said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he really had these very slow game spitting flow. You know what I'm saying? Cause like, I don't know when most people heard Jeezy, but you know, when you first heard them boys from Boys in the Hood, you know, people don't understand that like Jeezy definitely was supposed to be the star of the group, but so was Jody Breeze. Like, that was a big deal. Like, but it was just, if it take too long, bring it back. You was short anyway, so bring a stack. You know, that was messed up. I wouldn't even know. Like, it was just super comical. Jeezy was super comical in his delivery. And he used the ad libs and all that type of stuff. He just made trapping seem fun. And he made trapping seem cool. Whereas, you know, Gucci definitely, I think when you first saw Gucci, you like, okay, Gucci, I don't know if I want to hang out with Gucci. You know what I mean? But I just keep it real with you. You know what I'm saying? But Jeezy was like, I think I would have hang out with Jeezy. Maybe a little dangerous. And so Jeezy was just so cool. Super cool. He had top net, like Jeezy, peak Jeezy was a 10 out of 10 charisma score.
Agreed.
10 out of 10.
Agreed.
There was a point where I don't think any rapper was more charismatic than Jeezy. That includes Jay-Z at the time. That includes Ludacris at the time. Like, nah, like none of them were oozing, I haven't used this word in probably 2 years, swag like Jeezy. Nobody was. And it created these two camps. But remember, we sort of heard them around the same time due to a very, very, very popular song, So Icy. Now I turn it over to you.
You know, you're right about the So Icy part, where it's kind of like they did that song together. Now, at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I love the song. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, incredible.
And it was an incredible song. But I will say this. I agree with you with Gucci. There was a rawness to his style where you felt like, okay, I really feel like you did this, Whereas Jeezy, yes, we know about his dealings, but I felt like he was reporting and giving you a visual of what was going on instead of really like him doing it, which is not to say that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
But he kind of took himself and just kind of like, all right, here's the scene. I'm painting the picture for you. I'm kind of like the narrator of this movie that's going on. Whereas Gucci, I felt like, dang, dog, I feel like you're probably still participating in these activities. You just know it was just a rawness to this stuff.
Yeah, and it looked like and with Gucci, it was a certain level still. Like Gigi sort of felt like we're trying to transition into the business type of thing. And you sort of felt that. Like you heard CTE, like him talking about corporate thugs entertainment and these type of things. Whereas Gucci, you felt like Gucci might still be in the trap. Like, you know what I mean? Just Jeezy looked like the more, and I mean look. When I mean look, I actually mean like his look. There was a big transition from Trap or Die. Okay, so if you don't know, Trap or Die was the mixtape that put Jeezy on. Like it was the mixtape. I lived in Atlanta. Frito, you lived in Atlanta in 2005. And when I heard Trap or Die, because I mean, you had catch me like, oh man, you heard the Trap or Die mixtape. And this is when you still, like, it was on the internet, but I'm pretty sure I picked it up from a corner store. I got it, and I was like, this is, you know, because I'm like, I know dope dealing rap, okay? I know dope dealing rap, okay? I've been on UGK since 94. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I know UGK, Ghetto Boys, shout out to P. Clips have been out for like 4 or 5 years. But this was in a different way because, like you said, it felt like you were sort of riding shotgun during a lot of this. And he was creating anthems. And that was the thing, because like there have been dope boy anthems. Like shout out to Pocket Full of Stones, UGK. Like Pocket Full of Stones to me was the dope boy anthem for me growing up. You know what I'm saying? I got a pocket full of stones. It was like Jeezy took that and was like, I'm just gonna make an album full of it. Gonna make an album full of. You know what I mean? Like, and then 101 comes out, and you're like, you and I were as corporate. Well, we were entry level, but still, like we were sitting in queues. You know, we were rocking Burley Coat Factory. You know, say button ups to work. You know, blazers, ties. We were as square as you could get. You could not tell us we were not living a 101 life, though, Frito.
Bruh, when Thug Motivation came out, almost every day in my cube, I was bumping that album. And sometimes I just stand up in the queue like, yeah, get at you. How was it what I what? Cut the kitchen light.
Song after song. Song after song was incredible. Because it's like, oh, okay, I would have played the intro. Oh, but then I got to play gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? And then I got to play Let Me Talk to Him. And then I got to play Go Crazy with Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? And then I got to play Bottom of the Mouth. And then I got to play In My Hood. I still ain't done the singles yet. I still got to do and then what? Then I got to play Trap or Die because he re-released the song Trap or Die on that album. Then Air Forces. Oh my gosh. I bought some new Air Forces just for this damn song. You know what I'm saying? What? Like it was just so cool.
Bruh, that album is still, you know, when you go on a road trip.
That's it, yeah. That's road trip.
Have an album or a couple albums to just laugh me where I don't have to skip and all like that. That's one of the albums that's on my list.
It's on the list. Oh, Soul Survivor. I'm tripping. Soul Survivor with Akon. Dog, like, I remember getting the album. And I was sort of late because I think I was busy. And my cousin Josh, who's a big Jeezy fan, was like, do you got 101 yet? And I was like, no, I'm gonna get it. Man, you need to get that 101. So I finally get it. Atlanta traffic, going to work. Let me pop it in because I'm gonna be in traffic for 45 minutes because I overslept by 2 minutes. So 30 minutes added to the commute. Put it in, and I'm just like, dog, I didn't even say Trap Star. I didn't even say the title track. That's how it was. And you sit here like, have I skipped the song? I'm 13 tracks in. I don't want to get out of my car. Am I about to buy a Snowman t-shirt? Like it was, Snowman t-shirt. So I had to do a project in Queens, right?
Yeah.
So this is summer 2005. Yeah, it gotta be summer 2005. If not, it was early fall. I'm in Queens, New York, doing a job for the post office. So I'm literally, not Queensbridge, you know what I'm saying? But it was Queens. I'm in Queens, and I ended up going to Jamaica, Queens, Southside. And I ended up going there because it was sort of like, if you've been to Atlanta, it was sort of like Midtown where there were like a lot of shops and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like black-owned clothing stores, and like, dudes in the hotel were like, you got to go, just come back before it gets dark, but go down there and get you some fits. Might catch you some Nike, some whatever on the low. So that's all he had to tell me. So I went down there. You know what I saw in New York?
What's up?
Snowman at the Snowman t-shirt. People wearing them. I remember going to get my haircut while down. I said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get a haircut. I walk in the shop, and dudes like, you need a haircut, whatever. I like, hey man, hook me up though. Man, where you from? And I was like, oh crap, I messed up. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm from Georgia. Jeezy the Snowman. I was like, this is Queens. Like, what is going on? Like, Jamaica Queen. Like, this is literally 50 Cent territory. And the fact that I saw more Snowman stuff than G-Unit stuff that day. No exaggeration. And I was like, wow, like, Jeezy's made it.
Wow. So that's pretty huge because you got to understand 50 Cent was like a phenomenon.
Yes,
unit.
He was. And he still was at that time, you know what I'm saying? But that was the year of Jeezy. And it was like, man, like, Cass really messing with Jeezy. Like, this is interesting. Because like I said, the first time I heard was Trap or Die, but the first time, I had a cousin Josh that was on Jeezy for a while, so he had the Come Shop With Me tape, you know what I'm saying? One side, the hard and soft CD to the double album, and Pastor Troy was on it, and it was like, yo man, I like this dude. He had the cover of the album, had him in the Washington Bullets Michael Jordan jersey. And my cousin was like, yo, you might want to get with this cat. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get to it. But by the time Trap or Die, and definitely by the time TM 101 hit, I was like, okay, I get it.
Why do you think Jeezy Thug Motivation 101 just took the nation by storm like that?
It was relatable. He Tupac'd it out in some ways where he made danceable, and I'm not saying like dance, but I'm saying like he really did an incredible job of mixing club music with trap music. And I know it was like, I got to keep mentioning T.I. because T.I., of course, but I'm trying to say, how can I explain this? T.I. was super refined. Jeezy was like the perfect mix of street and being refined. I think he was just like right in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then like, he wasn't a pretty dude, but girls loved him. I know girls that love Jeezy. And it was just like, he just fit. He looked like the cat. He looked like the dude that I saw in Walters Express. Literally looked like the dude that was in Walters Express. But even though he first wasn't from Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's really from Hawkinsville, and then he moved to Atlanta later, like a lot of people. Gucci's from Bessemer, Alabama. He moved to Atlanta when he was 8, 9 years old. And I think also he really did something that was very genius. A lot of his stuff got introduced in a certain arena. With a strip club. And if you are not familiar with the Atlanta strip club scene, a lot of songs, a lot of music, a lot of dances, a lot of trends have been introduced via that medium of being strip. Because if you have a very popular stripper, and she's playing your song when she comes out, it turns to like a thing. And you know what I'm saying? And like people like, oh, and then you see that stripper gets associated with that artist or that song. And that's what Jeezy was doing. And this is 2005. This is post BMF era, but it was still crazy in Atlanta during that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like going to the strip clubs, even going to the regular clubs was like a big deal. And like people wanted to throw money around, people wanted like they were ballers, people wanted to do like this. And what's that song getting played? Strip club DJs were like celebrities. And so it was like, and then the strippers definitely were celebrities. It was just like, man, what song is that? I want to be part of that. And he captured like the essence of Atlanta during that time. In a lot of the ways, the same way I think that Peak BG and Peak Juvenile captured the essence of New Orleans. And so that's what I think Jeezy did. Jeezy captured Atlanta.
Yeah.
He was Atlanta. Even though he's not from Atlanta, he was Atlanta.
Yeah.
The big jerseys, he just looked real effortless with it too. It was also very effortless. It was very, very cool. And Jeezy looked approachable. Jeezy looked like, and my cousin met Jeezy once, and he said that Jeezy was literally how he thought he was going to be. Like, Jeezy looked like the dude that if you see him at Walter's Express, you know what I'm saying? Walter's Express, we talked about some previous episodes, was a world famous clothing store in Midtown Atlanta. You feel like if you saw him at Magic City, if you saw him at a Hawks game, if you were like, what up, Snow? He'd be like, what it is, though. And I feel like that's who he, for us, we feel like that's who he was. Whereas, rappers are starting to get like really non-approachable. Like, no one's going to run up to say hey to 50 Cent. He probably got 30,000 bodyguards, or even Jay-Z, because he's so like, he's Jay-Z, the glow, the awe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even like 3,000 Outkast, like they're such these super characters. They were so, artistic and everything. Like, man, what do I say to Andre if I see him at the store? I'm not crap. What am I going to do? Whereas Jeez, I feel like you just be like, what up, Jeez? He say something back. So his relatability was just huge. And his album was dope. The music was great. And like, as bad as it sounds, like I know people like he wasn't lyrical, but it was almost like he tapped into another dimension, the same way I think DMX tapped into another dimension of lyricism, where it's like, okay, you know what? He may not have a 30,000 vocabulary set, but like I believe everything he's saying. He's killing this beat. The songs are fun, and he's insightful. This was insightful stuff. Oh, don't get caught. When he was talking, remember Don't Get Caught? That was an incredible track when he talked about like getting pulled over by the police. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, man. Freaking Jeezy. I can talk about Jeezy all day when to move over to Gucci, or how you want to do this.
So I will say this, because I got a lot to say about Gucci.
Okay.
Before I get about Gucci, I want to say with the both of them, they kind of, it seemed like to me they popularized the description of material thing, metaphor to some type of food color.
Okay, help me out with this. Okay.
Something like coupe, something, chop a can of orange juice. But it's kind of like
yes. You're right. Oh man, that's crazy.
Them
Oh
boys
man.
slaughtered that move, but you loved it.
Yeah.
You loved it when you heard it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think the perfect example is Lemonade. I think Lemonade is one of the best hip hop songs ever.
Oh my God.
Because like the extended, that's what I'm saying. Like you want to, oh, Gucci can't rap. Have you heard Lemonade? Have you really heard it? But this is the thing also about like Gucci, which is the opposite of Jeezy. Jeezy's very easy to understand.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whereas Gucci, because I think he freestyles a lot of the stuff he does and it's obvious. These are raw cuts. So his diction, maybe the word choice probably wasn't the right word choice, maybe even when he wrote it or said it. And he slurs together when he does do his speedy flow.
Yeah.
It can come off as like slurring almost at times. So what happens is people are like, well, I don't know what he's saying, or he's just saying stuff. And then like people want to put in the mumble rapper list. I'm like, he's actually not. It's just that Gucci's flow is so colloquial, is so Alabama, East Atlanta based.
Yeah.
And Gucci's not going back to cut another version of the song. Like you can tell he's not. He's like, nah, that's dope. And some people love that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like there are songs where I feel like if you would have done a different cut of it, it was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I enunciate every word. But that's not Gucci. And honestly, I think the fun of Gucci is dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Because my shout out to my cousin Quinn, but I've quoted Gucci and Quinn has had to call me and be like, hey, that's not the word that Gucci said. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, crap. I think what you said just makes more sense, Quinn. So like, but that's the fun of Gucci though.
Right.
I think that's the fun, but like, nah, man. I mean, dog. I got lemonade and lemon tint, lemons. Watch me mix the shit. Lemonade complex and East Australian girl be killing it. She say I be killing her. I say I be feeling it. 4 days and I'm sick of her because her brain is lemon head. I'm like, you think Gucci can't rap? Really? He got 3 verses of that, man. Like, oh, dog, my favorite line though from the whole track. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Yellow bricks, yellow dust, yellow lean, yellow tusk, yellow pill, spinning wheels, yellow wheat, yellow wheels, coward ass blank, yellow stripe, you a yellow back. AK hit your dog and you can't bring old yellow back. Come on, dog. Y'all got Gucci messed up. Gucci can rap. Gucci can rap. Rappity rap. I'm probably gonna drop some more jewels for Gucci, but like through that. But yeah, man, like, and then to be living in Atlanta, I will say this though. So we're gonna touch on it. We I'm sure it's gonna get brought up again, in part 1 or part 2 or part 12 of this pod. We're gonna keep going until we finish. But the division between them. That added to their legend too. So all we feel comfortable saying is that Gucci was arrested for a failed attempt at least robbery, and at the most his life, for self-defense. And there's a difference in opinion on what was the catalyst for that situation, right? And that if Gucci has the perspective that perhaps Jeezy was involved in some type of way. That's as much I think we feel comfortable saying.
Right.
All right. And that situation between these two men honestly made both their music actually, it amplified their legend simultaneously. And this situation happened in 2005 Frito and I are living in Atlanta in 2005. I will tell you, I remember being in a certain establishment once, and Jeezy made a diss song of Gucci called "Stay Strapped," which is a pretty much a remix of T.I.'s incredible song ASAP, 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 ASAP. So Gucci was like, Jeezy was like, "Stay strapped, stay strapped, stay strapped." That song came on. I looked over at the DJ like, "What are you doing?" Half the crowd was feeling it. Half the crowd was not. I literally started looking for exit right then when the beat dropped. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's the same time. I remember being in the same establishment once when Walker was there. I don't think it was the same night. And I don't want to say it was. Because I think I probably would have left if Walker and his Waka Flocka was still part of Gucci's crew. Was in the club that night. I think I definitely would have left. But and I don't remember what I know they played a Gucci song after. It might have been round one, but I don't really remember, which was the Gucci's dissing Jeezy. But I remember it really being tumultuous and people really were choosing sides. It literally was like an Atlanta condensed version of Pac and Biggie in a lot of ways. And the story was very similar if you really think about it, like very, very similar of a person, rapper A getting assaulted and thinking that rapper B may have had something to do with it. And so, and then everything that comes after that, you know what I'm saying? And then media, even in their careers in the short term, benefiting from it, the situation. It was very parallel. And I think that's what was concerning for me at that time. I was like, we've already seen this story before, and we know what happens. Like, I don't want this to happen to Gucci and Jeezy. The difference between these two factions was no diss to Pac and Biggie, but Pac was not a street dude. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say Biggie was not, but we definitely knew that Gucci and Jeezy were street dudes. And there's no Puffy around to sort of make stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Gucci had I don't know who Gucci's mentors were at that time, but there definitely was no Puffy. And there wasn't, you know what I'm saying? There was no sort of, I felt responsible adult in the room. And by that time, the labels knew how, because like I tell people, like, who won out of Biggie and Pac? The labels. You know what I mean? And so it sort of felt like that the labels and definitely the media was like, oh, we're not going to learn a lesson from last time. And they sort of threw a lot of, I remember literally watching Rap City and them asking Jeezy about Gucci and me like being livid. Like, what are y'all doing? We've seen this before. Like, we don't ask him anything about Gucci. Like, what are you doing? This is irresponsible. Like, for you, it's fun, stuff like that. But like, there is so many other, it's not just their situation. Like, they represent, as much as I feel comfortable saying, but they represent certain factions in Atlanta, Jeezy and Gucci. Like, so like, it's not just their songs. Like, people really feel like they representing them. And to go to a party, go to a club in your neighborhood, and feel like you can't blast certain music loud, like, oh, like this is serious. And so, yeah. I mean, it added to the excitement. I'll be very fair. I'll keep it real with you, being 24, 25 years old. It did add to the excitement of it all, but it was a very scary time. For a little while at least.
Yeah.
Turn it back over to you.
Yo, for me, the whole exposure of them all, there was, of course, Thug Motivation 101. I was really exposed through Gucci, yes, through So Icy, but through the evolution of the internet,
Oh, yeah.
Whereas YouTube, because that's where I would listen to his freestyles on YouTube. That's where some of his mixtapes were on there, so I would just give them a listen to.
Datpiff.com. Remember Datpiff?
I think you killed Datpiff more so than I did.
Yeah, I was, Datpiff.com. Did he have to get on LimeWire? Like it was like a legit website. Like you could just, that pill.
I bet you had a lot of burned CDs with these guys on them, bud.
Dog, I was running around. I will admit I wasn't as heavy on Gucci. I was more on Jeezy.
Yeah.
But I was bumping Gucci, but it's just not as hard.
Got you. Do you think that also Jeezy was benefited from the Gangsta Grillz mixtapes as well?
So that's a whole nother conversation. So no, Trap or Die was definitely a drama mixtape, but Jeezy and Drama fell out when he eventually did a mixtape for Gucci, and so they ended up falling out hard. Gucci definitely used the internet to his advantage, but also something that Gucci did, which is almost the opposite of Jeezy. Jeezy had Def Jam. Right? He had Def Jam. And there's no diss to Jeezy, but he had like this machine behind him.
Right.
Gucci created his own machine.
He did.
And Gucci created Atlanta relationships. So what is Zaytoven? All right? Whether it's Walker and Juice and Frenchie and the Migos and Nicki Minaj. Gucci's realness became his biggest asset, whereas people wanted to just be associated with him because I'm trying to figure out another comparison. Gucci literally for a lot of people was way more attainable than Jeezy. Because Gucci looked like he still was, because he was. Gucci like he was still. And then, I mean, I'll keep it real with you. Gucci was exonerated for the self-defense charge. And that just added another level to his legend.
Yes.
Because it was like, and we'll talk about it when we get, Gucci made multiple songs about the situation.
Well,
multiple songs about the situation.
Before we go there, let's talk about Gucci's major impact and his non-impact.
Okay.
Because to be honest with you, Jeezy, more polished. More refined, which is great because, it really could take you very far in this industry. It just being just kind of being like a quote unquote professional.
Yeah.
Gucci wasn't. And the thing is, that's kind of like that added to his mystique. But if he was just a bit more polished, we really could have been looking at a no limit Atlanta if Gucci really wanted to, if he was that focused. Because he is one of the best evaluators of talent.
Period.
Because he cultivated those relationships.
Thug. I got to put Young Thug out there. Young Thug. Yeah.
So you list all those names. He put all those people on the map.
Yes.
And so just think if he was a little bit just kind of like, okay, I got something here. I know what I'm doing. Let me make this label system or whatever. We really could be talking about him being one of the greatest labels in like.
You don't want Gucci running your label, man. And I mean, and the most thing, and like I think he knows that. Like he had 1017, Brit Squad, and he put out Juice and put out Walk and helped make them stars. But Gucci also is gonna get in a fight at the mall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what did Walker say? Lock my CEO up. Now I'm back up. Like that was for real what Walker was saying. Gucci stayed in a situation. You know what I'm saying? Like he just stayed in the situation. Like, yeah, he said he could have signed Migos. He could have signed Migos. He could have signed Thug. He could have, I mean, he did sign him at one point, I think Thug, but he's sort of like, man, do your thing. Cause this thing is like, I'm not doing these meetings, bro. But instead, like anytime I need you, I need you to get on this verse for me. His thing was like, I just wanna help people make their dreams, but I may not be the person to do that.
That's honest.
It's a very selfless way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Because how many great artists out there never made it to a level because they were. Well, I'm about to say I might get in a little trouble for it, but like 2 Chainz became a star after he left Ludacris. You know what I'm saying? Killer Mike became a bigger star after he left Big Boy. Like, I think it's just really hard to be an artist. I think it's very hard to be an artist and a label executive or label head or something. Some of them were great. And this is the thing though, like how even like the great ones that were great at it. Sooner or later got sour, Master P. Sooner or later, people got ticked off. People ticked off of Eminem today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Eminem as a, you know, Dre. Yes, there's Kendrick and there's Game and there's Snoop, but there's also a whole gang of other people that felt like they didn't really get their shot. Shout out to Hitman. Shout out to, was it Joe Beast? Rakim was on Aftermath. Like I mean, for a while, like I just think it's hard. I just assume it is because these are good people. Like Big Boy's a good person. You know what I mean? Like, he really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Eminem's a good enough person to think to me. Like, you think Eminem doesn't want Griselda to be successful? But Griselda this week is like acting like they ain't on Shady no more. Lloyd Banks and 50 Cent were friends. Like, they don't even. I just think it's a lot, man. So maybe Gucci knows that. Maybe Gucci knows his limitations. And it's like, yeah, man, yeah, but yeah, he's an incredible evaluator talent, and like his lineage is crazy. Like I said, we just said Thug, we just said the Migos, we just said the new girl Mulatto. Who's her favorite rapper? Gucci. Like she said it multiple times. She's done like 2 or 3 songs with him already. People love Gucci. Yep. He's, people like. I've seen people say like, yo, I know you think he's wild and stuff, but that dude be at the studio. If he says he's going to be there, he's going to be there. He's going to be there. And he going to do the verse right then. And then be like, want to do another one? Like, he said it like for all his limitations and indiscretions, like he's a worker. He's not going to try to do you dirty. So, hey, you know what I mean? So,
and that again speaks to what you said earlier about just approachable. I feel like with Jeezy, he has fans, but Gucci has fanatics.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, I want to put this out there: like a big contingency of Gucci fans are like in their 20s. Gucci's 40 years old. Like, Gucci's older than me. Like, you know what I mean? But like, yo, I know some 25, 26, 27 year olds that like they live by Gucci. You know what I mean? They just like, yo, man, that's that dude be speaking about life. I'm like, what? Like, I was listening to Gucci when I was in college. How you? Okay. Cool. I mean, which is dope. Like, it's not a diss. It's just amazing. Like his influence. So,
yo,
yeah, man.
Now that brings us to like, are they underrated?
Yes.
Really?
To me, they are. I think their influence is underrated. And I even think more so Gucci than Jeezy. I think Gucci is an underrated rapper, underrated lyricist.
Yeah.
Jeezy, and I'm a Jeezy fan. If I had to keep it real here, like, and we'll talk about it when we get to the verses, like, and this is not a diss though, because a lot of rappers in this situation, what I'm about to say is not a diss to Jeezy.
Yeah.
It never got better for Jeezy at the 101. right? That doesn't mean he got worse though. It doesn't mean like he turned to a worse rapper. It's just that 101 was definitely like I said, so Jeezy was like a 10 out of 10 on 101. He may have been a 9 or an 8 for a while after that. But I don't think he ever got to 10 again. You know what I'm saying? Like 102 definitely was a drop off from 101. But he had pop hits. He had the R. Kelly track on there. You know what I'm saying? He had I Love It. So he was still doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? And then the recession was a moment. Like, you know, it was very well timed, but it still wasn't a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? And then, you know, there was a little bit of, you know, time that 103 came out and some great songs on 103, some really great songs on 103, but it still wasn't a 10 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? So by definition, he peaked at 101. Whereas Gucci may never ever got to 10. Man, it's like he's been 8 for like 10 years. So which would you rather be? You know what I'm saying? Like, which would you rather be? I think there's an argument for both. Yeah, like Gucci's still putting out stuff, people getting excited about it. Whereas Jeezy's put out like multiple pieces of work in the last few years, and it really hasn't gotten a buzz. And you know why?
Why?
Because no one believes Jeezy can't talk about snow no more. Gucci can still talk about snow and beat people up in the club. You know what I'm saying? Even though Gucci's definitely more refined now, he's more mature, he's married, so it's not as crazy as In the Kitchen. You know, it's In the Kitchen days. But Gucci can still talk about his chains and stuff. Jeezy's right. I will talk about it. Jeezy talk about real estate and stuff like that, and which is dope. And I definitely applaud. But Gucci's still Gucci, and you know, yeah.
I'm glad you said that because for me, Self Motivation would definitely. I never listened to a whole album of Gucci's, so there's no classic album for me. But there's a classic album for me in Jeezy. The thing is, though, with Jeezy, after Thug Motivation 101, I'll probably listen to maybe the next 2 albums after that. But it just kind of like, it went a step down and kind of plateaued for me, where I was kind of like, I don't want to say I got tired of it, but it's kind of like, I heard this before, cool, but I don't get the same feeling as.
Because it's not fresh anymore. It's not fresh anymore. And that's fine. Like, I mean, like hip hop is a very strange genre like that. And so very few people, like, other than Pusha T, who really can still talk about their lifestyle for 10 years plus. And no offense to Jeezy, Pusha T is an elite MC though. Like, Pusha can say stuff in a different way than he said 5 years ago or last year. You know what I mean? So, you know, but still, like, 2 incredible artists, man. I do think they're underrated. Gucci, especially for his lyricism.
I feel that Jeezy is properly rated.
Yeah, okay.
And I feel Gucci is highly underrated.
Gotcha. And I think it's just a look. Like, I can't, like, I argue with somebody this week. Oh man, Gucci sound dumb. Gucci sound, you know, I'm not gonna use the R word because I don't use that word. But like, Gucci sound dumb. Gucci sound whatever. And I'm just like, why do you say that? And it's like, it's a whole bunch of aesthetic stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, does Gucci sound less intelligent than Noriega? Really?
Ooh.
There's no diss to Noriega. There's no diss to Noriega because I love Noriega, his drink champs. But like, does he? Like, really? You know what I'm saying? I picked Noriega because Noriega is of CNN is a super respected MC. Got the War Report's a classic album, and he has his own podcast, and people love his podcast. That's why I picked Noriega. I think they sound probably equal intelligence. Does Gucci sound that much crazier than Cameron? Really? Really? Because we listen to Cameron, dog. A lot of Cameron. Hey, Cameron was saying some wild stuff, man, and I loved it. I'm saying, so there's no diss the killer. Like, come on, man. I get it. I get it though. Like Gucci's aesthetic, his persona, he's frustrating. Why blah, blah, why you got ice cream on his face? Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But if you really sat down and listened to some of his stuff, not all of it, some stuff is just what it is. It's straight up party ratchet music. It's not supposed to be insightful. Yeah. You know, there's no way I can make, freaky girls. You know what I'm saying? Wasted is wasted. But no, man, that dude don't spit some stuff. Like, he don't spit some stuff, man. Yeah. All right, turn it back over to you, homie.
Whew. Yo.